The handstand. Probably the most aesthetic calisthenics skill that involves you having to maneuver and coordinate many muscle groups simultaneously, constantly having to make micro adjustments to hold the move. Honestly, the handstand did not come naturally to me. It took me a lot of time and a lot of effort to learn, but I did manage to get pretty good at it. This video is going to save you months worth of time, as I'm going to give you the exact steps I used to learn the handstand as quickly and as efficiently as possible. It's also the same steps that I've used to teach many people the handstand as well, so trust me, it works. And I don't want to just teach you how to stand on your hands. I actually want to give you the tools and skills you need to go even further than what you thought was possible. First step to learning the handstand is to build strength and mobility. Let's talk about the mobility first because it's the most boring part. We can just get out of the way quick. Do these stretches. So you want to first start with your hands straight, just lean back and forth, turn them over, back and forth, side to side. Take your time with these mobility exercises. Do them maybe 3 times a week. To start working on the handstand, I do recommend you be able to do at least 25 push-ups straight, like minimum, maybe 30. The more you can do, the better, honestly. But if you're at the 25 mark, you can start learning the handstand. So once you can do those 25 push-ups, the first step to learning the handstand is the pike hold. Unfortunately for the handstand, it's the boring fundamentals that will get you to the amazing, spectacular result of you being able to stand on your hands. Of course, once you do the pike holds, you want to then move on to something called pike push-ups. Pike push-ups are a beautiful exercise and they translate very well to you learning the handstand. It builds a lot of strength in your traps, your forearms, your triceps, your shoulders, mainly your shoulders. The next step after the pike push-up is what I like to call the advanced pike push-up. So essentially what you're going to do is you do the push-up, get down to the point where you're like close to the floor, lean forwards, and then put your weight on your hands and shoulders. And it basically emulates the feeling of a handstand push-up. It's basically just setting you up for the future. And I think this is an excellent foundation of strength for you to start learning the handstand. And I think once you can do this, it's time to move on. After you can do some nice pike holds, some pike push-ups, and you're ready to move on, you need to learn how to kick up against the wall, because the next few weeks, months, depends how long it takes you to learn it. It took me 5 months. You will be spending 99% of your time against the wall. So if you're going to spend all this time against the wall, you might be questioning, how do I get up onto the wall? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I want to teach you right now. First of all, start with your hands shoulder width apart. Make sure your hands are locked into the ground. Sprinter start position. Move the lead leg forwards and follow with the other leg, and stick your butt high into the sky. Not too high, but relatively high. Bring your shoulders slightly over your hand. Trust me, it's a bit of an uncomfortable position, but it's necessary. And the next step is you want to protract your scapula. And this is a weird one, because if you've never done any scapular control, it's going to feel a bit weird. So essentially what you're going to do is imagine that you're trying to bring your shoulders as close to your ears as possible. So you want to like tuck your head into your shoulders. I know it's a bit of a pain, but the better you are at protracting your scapula, the more stable your handstand will be. Tilt your head slightly down, and what this does is it puts your body in the perfect position to get into the handstand. And as you can see, your upper body is essentially already in the handstand position, so all you have to do is bring your legs up. So you want to be very gentle with it to begin with. Take your time, bounce up slowly, just figure it out, right? You might fail a few times, you might fall, you'll be fine. Don't listen to me. You might not fall. You'll be fine. Hopefully, you have now kicked yourself up onto the wall. If you have, well done. If you haven't, just keep going. You'll get it, I promise. So the next step is step 3, and that's to just keep holding yourself up against that wall. Do not come down for as long as you can. I do recommend timing yourself. So what I used to do quite often, I used to get a stopwatch, put it underneath me, press go, kick up to the wall, and just see how long I can hold it for. And the aim of the game was to keep holding it for as long as possible. Make sure you're breathing, get used to all that blood rushing to your head. You'll get used to it eventually. It's really weird the first time because you've never been upside down. It's just a completely novel feeling. Now after the first few attempts, you should start to feel a bit more comfortable up there when your body gets used to it. You want to now start to analyze your body and how it feels once you're up in that handstand, especially in your posterior chain. And these are the muscles such as the lower back, the glutes, maybe even your calves sometimes. But those muscles, you want to feel them build them up and get stronger. And the way I used to do my handstand practice is I'd always do it in my push days. So I start off with skill practice, so maybe a warm-up, handstand holds, and then pike push-up would be my first exercise, and then the rest would be other push movements. You basically want to do the handstand when you're as fresh as possible, so you're in a prime state to learn. The longer you spend in the handstand, the more natural it becomes. Now we're on to step 4, and one drill that I really recommend doing over and over again, once you can, start doing it. Get semi-far from the wall. So you don't want to be close to the wall, but you want to be like far enough to the point where you're like, okay, this is a bit scary, all right. And then you kick up, you want to catch yourself. You want to try your best to bring your feet off the wall without kicking off the wall. You want to essentially use your hands and your core to bring your feet off the wall. Now don't kick. When I'm coaching some of my clients, right, and I tell them to do this drill, I literally see them kicking off the wall and they're like, nah, I swear, I'm not kicking. I can see you kicking. So I remember when I first did this, your forearms literally burn, right? Because you're not used to this thing. But what I'm trying to do is, if you haven't noticed already, there's only really 2 ways you can fall. It's either forwards or backwards. So the first drill, where you're trying to fight to stay up onto the wall, teaches you how to not fall back down the way you came up. This drill will teach you how to not topple over and fall down the other way. Those 2 drills are literally all you need to learn how to balance and hold the handstand, right? But of course I'll give you some more, because the more you have, the more you know, the more you progress. If you're able to do like 12 pike push-ups, maybe some advanced pike push-ups, I'm sure you can get around maybe 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 handstand push-ups. I recommend doing 4 sets of maximum handstand push-ups, like as many as you can, right? Until you work your way up to doing 4 sets of 10 to 12. Once you can do 4 sets of 10 to 12, you know, you're pretty strong in that movement. And I'm proud of you for getting this far, for real. Now, step 5, right? You can now do 4 sets of maybe 8 to 12 reps, right? You now want to start kicking up and learning the handstand. But I don't want you to just start kicking up without any support, with no wall, with no one there, fall on your head, you know, hurt your neck. I don't want you to hurt yourself, yeah? The next step into learning the handstand is learning how to fall. Find a nice surface, maybe you got some grass, maybe there's some carpet in your house, something where you're not gonna seriously injure yourself, right? So essentially what you're gonna do is you're gonna kick up as if you're gonna go into the handstand, but you're not. You're gonna twist off to the side. And you might have to figure out on the spot which side you're gonna twist to. A lot of learning the handstand is gonna be 90% just falling over and over and over again. And this beautiful exercise, this beautiful skill will teach you patience and resilience like you've never had it before. Imagine months of just you falling over and over and over and over again just so you can stand on your hands. If you're at step 6 and there's something missing, it's probably just one of those foundational things that you missed out. Maybe you weren't doing your handstand push-ups. Maybe you haven't been holding yourself up against the wall for long enough. Maybe your wrist mobility is bad. Sometimes it takes going 1 step back to go 2 steps forwards. I promise, if you just stick to the foundations, right? It might be hard at first, but your progress will go like through the sky, man. If you're at this point and you still can't do the handstand, you'll most likely have the strength, right? You just lack the balance. So maybe just go to a simple exercise. It's called like a frog pose. It's very good for teaching you how to use your hands like your feet, right? When you're first learning the handstand, you want to practice on a surface that's very sturdy and very easy to grip onto, because you don't want to do it on anything that has too much give, because then the forces that you're applying with your hands and your wrists will just be absorbed. This is like some physics, right? This is where most people find themselves, right? Just constantly falling, like kicking up and falling over, kicking up, falling over. So a great cue I used when I first started learning the handstand was to imagine that it's like you want to grip the ground like your life depends on it. I'm going to leave a free little handstand PDF, little handstand guide in the link in the description. And as per usual, it's been a pleasure talking to you. My name is Iyad Harichi, by the way.